Hey everybody, I just want to give you a quick overview of doing the if statements. Again, we talked about it in class, just wanted to put a refresher up here so you could check it online if you needed to at your leisure. So remember, the main reason we use an if statement is to decide between something. So we're basically saying, well, if something's true, carry out this action, and then the else statement is, well, it's not true, do these things, but we can always just have an if by itself. So let's get some input to work with. So I'm just going to ask for a number. In this case, I'm going to ask for just an integer, because that's easy to work with. So make sure I close all my parentheses. And I just want to have a simple message print out if the number is a specific number. So if my number is equal to 7, I will print out a message that says, wow, what a guess. So what we're really doing here is, well, there's two things to really kind of pay attention to. First is this chunk right here. Okay, this is your testing condition. So in this case, I put a variable, and then I used a kind of a testing operator. So in this case, the double equal sign to compare it to the 7. So we use single equal sign already to assign values to something. This puts whatever happens on the right hand side gets saved into the left hand value. And here we've put 2 of them in there to say, wait a second, we don't want to change the value of anything. We want to compare values and see if they're equivalent. So in this case, 7 is 7 equivalent to number. If that happens to be true, we do this. So this is always going to kind of return a true or false. If it's true, we go into it. If it's false, we skip it. Okay? But I might want to actually have a message that comes up if I don't do it. So in this case, print try again. The number is a prime. So in this case, I'm given a little hint to say, hey, next time you run it, do a better guess. You'll notice one thing here is that we have the indentation. The indentation is really important. The indentation says, hey, look, this is part of the if statement. We don't have brackets or anything like that. There's no parentheses like there are here to say, oh, this all belongs in the if. So if we want something else to be inside this number, we could say, let's print number times 2 or something like that. If we want both of these things to happen, notice how we indent them the same amount. Okay, and Notepad++ is actually kind of cool if you want to double check to see if your stuff's inside this thing. You'll notice there's a little minus sign over here. If you click on that, that will shrink up everything that's in that particular if statement. So if you're worried something didn't get in there, or you have a ton of code and you don't want to see it, you can shrink it up to make sure, oh yeah, okay, that stuff was all in the if statement. Oops, let's just close that for now. Sorry about that. Anyways, so here we go. Let's run it just to make sure that we didn't make any huge errors. A little Alt-Shift F5, and 1 second. Anyways, sorry about that. Sat on remote control. Anyway, so I printed my number. I printed 8. It says try again. The number is prime. We run again. Alt-Shift F5. We put in 7. Hey, wow, what a guess. And then it did 2 times that. Okay, so that's a quick if statement example, and should get you on your way. The other part of what we talked about last time was talking about while loops. So a while loop is a really nice thing here, where we can do something like this. While want to print this out a few times. So while x is less than 7, okay, what do I want to do? I want to do this. Wait a second, I don't know what x is yet. So let's define x right here. We'll say x equals 0. And then we will do a little thing called a counter, which is we'll say, hey, x equals x plus 1. So what that means is this loop's going to happen. It works just like the if statement in the sense that it has this part here that we're checking. Okay, and if we check it, then if it's true, we execute the stuff below it that's indented. And if it's false, then we go and we stop. So basically what it does is it starts at the top of the loop. It runs these two commands, and then it says, ooh, I got to the bottom of the loop. Let me check to see if my condition is still true. So it'll check to see is x less than 7. If it is, then it'll just run it again. So for instance, in this case, let's just run this, type in 7, and notice that it prints out 14 7 times, which is what we told it to do. Cool. A nice little thing here about using the interactive window, if I type in x, you can see that the counter x, or the variable that I used to be my counter, got up to 7. So, hey, it got up to 7, it broke the loop, and then it went on. So that behaved exactly the way you can do it. Just so you guys know, there's a couple of different ways to compare things. The different ways to do it are you can do less than, greater than, truly equal to, but you can also do like greater than or equal to, right there, okay, or less than or equal to, or we can say not equal to, okay, and those are all our kind of options there, which would be nice. The other thing is we could say sometimes we want to have multiple things be true. If the number is equal 7, or the number equals 42, because that should always be a good thing to do, we can have one of these things happen. Now, if I run it, you can see if I type in 42, it does the same thing that 7 does, right? So we have a couple of options. We can do AND. Okay, well, AND is bad if we're checking for exactly equals, right? Because it can't be both equal to 7 and equal to 42. So this is never going to be true, okay? So you always got to be a little bit careful about using your AND and ORs to make sure that they'll evaluate to what you want. So that pretty much covers all that for right now. So that's a little bit about if statements and loops. Hopefully that will be useful to you. Thanks. Bye.